Alright, hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the gritty world of PC survival games. If you're into battling the elements, crafting your way to victory, and just straight up trying not to die, then you're in the right place. We've scoured the digital wilderness to bring you our picks for the top 15 PC survival games you absolutely gotta check out. So buckle up, grab your virtual axe, and let's get this survival party started. We're counting down from 15 all the way to number 1. So stick around to see if your favorite made the cut. Alright, welcome to number 15, Stranded Deep, a pure survival game that drops you onto a randomly generated tropical island where your goal is simple: survive and escape. The environment is beautiful but unforgiving, with death lurking around every corner. The early game is tough as you learn to find food and water and build shelter. Crafting a raft is crucial for exploration and increasing your chances of survival. But before you get there, the game won't hold your hand. Stranded Deep isn't the most hardcore simulation, but it's still challenging, especially when it comes to finding clean water. Drinking bad water or eating toxic food can lead to rapid dehydration. And don't think coconut water is your savior, it'll actually make you sick. Here, you can't rely on typical survival game shortcuts. Get ready for a survival world full of surprises and challenges. Alright, moving on to number 14, a title that might technically not fit perfectly into a top 15 list, but it's such a modern classic in the genre that we had to include it, The Long Dark. Even though the story mode isn't entirely finished yet, The Long Dark has become a modern classic of the survival genre, and for good reason. While games like The Forest feel more like monster battles with survival elements, The Long Dark is all about surviving the brutal cold and harsh winter of the northern Canadian wilderness. Sure, there are dangers like wolves and bears roaming around. They're scary in their own way, don't get me wrong, but what you really have to worry about is the cold. The cold is a constant threat and the most consistent killer. Just being outside is a danger in The Long Dark. The way temperature works isn't exactly like real life. It's tweaked and abstracted, so you don't have to worry about your core body temperature in a super granular way. And no matter how cold it is outside, indoor spaces always maintain a fixed temperature. However, the game still does a great job of keeping the cold a persistent concern. You have to layer up with clothing, all of which will gradually degrade over long periods of use and will need to be repaired. It's true that you'll often be safe indoors, but the longer you stay inside, the more you'll start to feel the effects of cabin fever, which is a real affliction. So, you're always forced to keep moving, and even safe havens can start to feel dangerous after a while. The toughest thing about the game is the lack of sustainability. The only way to survive is through scavenging. And once you've picked a location clean of resources, all you can really do is move on to another one. Eventually, the resources will run out. You won't be able to repair your clothes and find food sources.
Everything just gets scarcer over time.
In survival mode, you will eventually die no matter what you do.
What I did, the choice I made, I did it for us.
Alright, next up on our list, at number 13, we're leaving behind the biting cold of Canada and heading to a completely different environment where survival is just as challenging: the Amazon rainforest and the game Green Hell. This is one title that pulls absolutely no punches, demanding you face countless trials just to stay alive. The nutrition system in this game is incredibly intricate, with each plant and animal serving a specific purpose for healing or providing energy. Eating the right things is crucial for survival, and it's definitely not the only thing you'll need to worry about. The Amazon teems with dangers, from wild animals to indigenous tribes. But perhaps the most terrifying adversary is nature itself. Simply wading through a stream can leave you covered in leeches, and sleeping on the ground might result in parasitic worms burrowing into your skin. You'll need your trusty knife to deal with those pretty gruesome stuff. Food poisoning is a constant threat, and once you get sick or injured, recovery is a real struggle. Even simple tasks like starting a fire require careful preparation. You'll need sticks, a fire starter, and dry tinder. If any of it's wet, you're in serious trouble. And most importantly, you need enough stamina to even perform those actions. As you gradually familiarize yourself with the game systems and discover the uses of various plants, things will become a little more manageable. However, you'll still need to remain constantly vigilant, carefully balancing your food sources and dealing with unexpected illnesses, not to mention the hostile creatures that are always looking to ruin your day. Green Hell has successfully blended engaging gameplay with hardcore survival elements, creating one of the most challenging yet incredibly immersive experiences for fans of the genre. Alright, moving on to the next spot on our list, one of the true grandfathers of the survival game genre, Dayz is an incredibly tough multiplayer experience. If the unpredictable zombies don't get you, then other players most certainly will. And the worst part is, if you die, that's it. You lose absolutely everything upon death. Even if you manage to stash your gear in things like tents, other players can still find it. The survival mechanics in the game are just as brutal as anything else. The game thrives on realism in a lot of big and small ways, and if you don't know just how detailed the game is, you'll be in for a surprise. I'll give you an example. You can find canned food all over the place, but if you don't have something to open it with, you'll still starve. You don't just have to worry about water, food, and health. You also have to worry about your blood level. When you take damage, you'll lose blood, which causes your vision to get blurry and will eventually make you pass out if you don't do something to stop the bleeding. If all of that wasn't bad enough, you also have to compete with other players, not just for kills. Often when you first spawn into the game, everything around you will have already been picked clean by other players. You don't even get a chance to survive because other players got there first. Surviving for an hour is an accomplishment in Dayz. This game is deadly from just about every angle, and easily one of the most hardcore survival experiences of all time. It's also really damn fun, to be honest. Coming in at number 11, we have Oxygen Not Included, a truly unique PC survival game renowned for its incredibly complex chemical and physical simulation systems. If you're into games that demand logical thinking and meticulous resource management, then this is definitely one for you. Don't let its cute, cartoonish art style fool you, because lurking beneath the surface is a serious challenge. In Oxygen Not Included, you'll be tasked with building and managing an underground colony on a procedurally generated asteroid. The core challenge lies in keeping your little duplicants alive, and the most crucial element for that is ensuring a stable supply of oxygen. You'll also have to deal with the buildup of toxic CO2 and manage the heat generated by your various pieces of equipment. The game requires you to understand how different gases interact, how to build efficient ventilation systems, and how to utilize various resources to maintain stability for your colony. Despite its high difficulty, Oxygen Not Included offers a tremendous sense of accomplishment when you manage to solve complex problems and build a thriving colony. It's a truly unique and incredibly engaging survival experience for those who enjoy a good mental workout. Alright, next up on our list is Rust. This is a survival game that's notorious for its incredibly intense PvP element. While the core survival mechanics might not be the most realistic, the player versus player competition in Rust is truly unbelievable. You'll start with absolutely nothing, fighting tooth and nail for every resource to build a base and find some semblance of safety. However, even once you've established a secure shelter, you'll need to remain constantly vigilant because other players are always lurking, ready to strike. One particularly brutal aspect of Rust is that your character remains in the game world even when you log off. They'll simply fall asleep in your last location, making you a vulnerable target for anyone looking to raid and loot. On top of that, the game features permadeath, meaning you lose everything after you die. Rust is a challenging and unforgiving survival experience, but it's also incredibly engaging and rewarding for those who thrive on competitive PvP. Alright, next up we have Subsistence. Think of it as a PvE and co-op take on Rust, where the main focus is on slowly and challenging building up your base. You'll need a ton of resources to construct just about anything, and managing them is crucial, from keeping your food from spoiling to dealing with the weather. Subsistence really tries to deliver a realistic experience, sometimes to the point where it can feel a bit tedious, and it definitely requires a fair amount of grinding. Even on the easier difficulty settings, the game remains quite challenging with threats from wildlife, AI hunters, and the constant struggle for resources. That being said, if you're a seasoned survival game player looking for a new kind of challenge, Subsistence can still offer some enjoyable hours. Alright, coming in at number 8 on our list is a zombie survival game that's incredibly unique and highly acclaimed, Project Zomboid. If you're used to fast-paced zombie action games, then Project Zomboid is going to offer you a completely different experience. Instead of focusing on heart-pounding combat, this game heavily emphasizes the simulation of survival in the most realistic and detailed way possible. You'll face a myriad of challenges, from scavenging for scarce resources like food and water, building a secure shelter to fend off the undead, to managing your character's physical and mental well-being. With its classic isometric perspective, Project Zomboid provides a strategic view of the surrounding world, where every decision you make can have a significant impact on your survival. We have a game that might surprise some of you on a survival list because it's unlike anything we've talked about so far, My Summer Car. This title is a unique blend of life simulation and survival elements, set in the Finnish countryside during the 1970s. In the game, you play as a young man tasked with assembling a car from a massive collection of individual parts. It might sound simple, but this process is full of challenges, and you'll have to manage everything from finding the right parts, fueling up, and changing the oil, to making sure your character doesn't get hungry, thirsty, or too tired. On top of that, you'll also face unexpected dangers like traffic accidents and even run-ins with the police. My Summer Car isn't just a game about tuning cars, it's also a surprisingly engaging and sometimes hilariously awkward survival journey in rural Finland.
Early access to shiny paint job does not make the car run. Early access to diesel engine takes time.
Let's dive into number 6 on our list, where we'll explore one of the most beautiful and captivating underwater survival games ever created, Subnautica. If you're tired of barren islands or desolate wastelands, then Subnautica will take you to a vast, colorful, and mysterious ocean world. You'll step into the role of a survivor from a crashed spaceship, stranded on a remote planet entirely covered by water. From there, your survival journey begins as you explore vibrant coral reefs, deep-sea caves, gather resources to craft equipment and build underwater bases. But be warned, because this ocean isn't just full of breathtaking scenery, it's also home to countless dangerous creatures waiting for you in the depths. Subnautica is a fantastic blend of exploration, building, and light horror elements, creating an unforgettable survival experience. Let's check out number 5 on our list, a survival game that offers a completely different and challenging experience, Vintage Story. If you're used to survival games with fantasy elements or fast-paced action, then Vintage Story will take you back to the very basics of survival. Set in a primitive, almost ancient world, the game focuses on realism and detail in every aspect, from crafting tools and building shelter to finding food and dealing with harsh natural conditions. Vintage Story is not an easy game. It demands patience, keen observation skills, and a bit of knowledge about the natural world to survive. This is a title for those who truly want to test themselves in an immersive and deep survival environment that's ripe for exploration. Let's check out number 5 on our list, a survival game that offers a completely different and challenging experience, Vintage Story. If you're used to survival games with fantasy elements or fast-paced action, then Vintage Story will take you back to the very basics of survival. Set in a primitive, almost ancient world, the game focuses on realism and detail in every aspect, from crafting tools and building shelter to finding food and dealing with harsh natural conditions. Vintage Story is not an easy game. It demands patience, keen observation skills, and a bit of knowledge about the natural world to survive. This is a title for those who truly want to test themselves in an immersive and deep survival environment that's ripe for exploration. Coming in at number 3 on our list is a title that has undoubtedly been on many people's wishlists, Sons of the Forest. If you've ever endured the terrifying and challenging nights in the forest, then brace yourselves for an experience that's even scarier and more haunting. Sons of the Forest isn't just a simple graphical upgrade, it brings a larger, more detailed open world, along with significantly improved survival and combat mechanics. One of the most highly anticipated features in this sequel is the introduction of AI companions, promising valuable interactions and support during your perilous survival journey. However, don't get complacent, because this forest is teeming with even more terrifying and unpredictable mutant creatures than before. Sons of the Forest retains the formula of blending survival and horror elements that made its predecessor so successful, but on a grander scale, with more impressive graphics, and a storyline that promises even more mysteries to uncover. If you're a fan of the survival horror genre and love the forest, then Sons of the Forest is definitely an experience you won't want to miss.
Get down, son!
Taking the runner-up spot in our top 15 PC survival games list, we have a true monument, a title that has shaped an entire generation of gamers and is perhaps the most famous sandbox survival game in the world, Minecraft. If at number 5, Vintage Story offered a challenging survival experience focused on meticulous realism, then Minecraft takes a completely different approach, where your creativity and imagination are the only limits. Minecraft doesn't try to harshly replicate the difficulties of real-life survival. Instead, it gives you an incredibly vast world made of blocks, where you're free to explore, build anything you can dream of, and of course, find every way possible to survive. From gathering basic resources like wood and stone, crafting tools and weapons, building sturdy houses to fend off the monsters that appear at night, to exploring deep caves filled with precious minerals, Minecraft delivers an addictive and incredibly explorative gameplay loop. One of the great things about Minecraft is its variety in how you can play. You can choose survival mode to experience the true challenges, creative mode to unleash your building potential without worrying about resources, or even hardcore mode to crank up the difficulty for those who like a hardcore feel. On top of that, Minecraft boasts one of the largest and most active player communities, allowing you to connect and build amazing structures together or explore vast worlds. With its simplicity and endless potential, Minecraft has been and continues to be a cornerstone of the survival game genre. So without any further ado, the number 1 game on our top 15 PC survival games list, the title whose realism and brutality have pushed the genre to a whole new level, is SCUM.
Welcome to the prison Island, where survival is inte just a game. It's a brutal fight for a single breed.
SCUM is not for the faint of heart. This is a survival experience whose level of realism will absolutely blow your mind. From managing your character's complex metabolism, tracking every calorie and vitamin, to dealing with detailed injuries and even bodily functions, SCUM offers a level of simulation you've never seen before. You'll step into the shoes of a prisoner, thrown into a bloody reality TV show where survival means battling other players and ferocious AI-controlled creatures. Explore this vast island, scavenge for resources, craft weapons, and build bases to make it through each day. With a deep character customization system, you can develop your skills and attributes to suit your preferred playstyle. But remember, in SCUM, every decision can be the difference between life and death. If you found this video interesting and want to see more content like this, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts. Thanks for watching.